Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. So here we go again, another load of questions for you this week, guys. I hope you're going to enjoy this. Looking forward to this one. So let's get stuck straight in. And the first set of questions are from Keith Hewitt. So thank you very much, Keith. And Keith's first question: why do people always refer to retro games in the past tense, i.e. Super Mario Kart had great handling? Well, I think, to be honest, mate, it's obviously, with normal people outside of retro gaming, it's going to be about talking about the past. For us as retro gamers, if we do that, which we probably do, it doesn't make a lot of sense, you're right, because we are playing the games at the moment. They are, they're not current gen, they're still retro, but I suppose it's a way of comparing the retro to the modern, and the way that game development and gameplay have changed over the years. But yeah, realistically, if we're playing the games now, there's no reason why we can't just say that it has great handling instead of had. But that is a good question, actually. Number 2, what is your favourite monkey? Mine is the orangutan. Mine would be the chimpanzee or the orangutan, because Clyde was an orangutan, wasn't he? Remember rightly. And he was awesome. But yeah, I think chimps are quite cool, they're quite cute, so I'd go with that. Ever consider starting a business in anything? Yeah, all the time, plenty of time. In fact, a few years ago, me and Alex Blue78 were talking about this, how cool it would be to start a game shop. But realistically, in this economy, probably not. In normal circumstances, it's not exactly easy to get started. I'll consider doing eBay as well, but I just can't get my head around where to even start on eBay in terms of getting stock. I mean, you've got to factor in the ridiculous PayPal fees. There's the eBay 10% and the bloody fact that eBay most of the time will gimp you on the shipping and won't allow you to put the correct amount of shipping on an item, which is incredibly frustrating. Especially if you're selling a pack of multiple items, like multiple magazines, and the system is only set up to allow one, so it'll only let you charge £3 or something. It won't let you charge the correct amount, and it doesn't change the postage depending. That makes me laugh because it has options for first and second class recorded, standard post, parcel force, whatever, other courier. But yeah, it always has the same price on everything. It's so dumb. But yeah, I would love to start my own business and be independent. I think it'd be a much better way to live, because the 9 to 5 is, it's something you have to do, but it's not nice. So yeah, to have that freedom would be fantastic. But unfortunately, I ain't got a bloody clue where to start, if I'm honest. Okay, I noticed last week someone asked a rather rude question. And you did not answer this. Good for you. Thanks, Keith. Was it deliberate, or did you manage to genuinely miss it in error? It was a deliberate thing. Yes, I did decide not to answer that particular question. I've said before, I'll answer most questions, but if there are questions I'm not willing to answer, then I won't. Especially if it's a personal one. But that particular question, the reason I didn't answer it quite plainly was that I found it quite immature, and that's the only reason I didn't answer it. And that's probably not, to some people, it's not a good enough reason to not answer a question. But for me personally, I have a female audience as well as a male audience, and not just men watching me. And I felt it was kind of inappropriate for my female viewers. They don't want to see that kind of thing being asked and answered. It's just inappropriate. So that's why I didn't answer it. What's one of the strangest sights you've ever seen? I once saw an emu running through a field near where I live. What, in England? Really? Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. I didn't know we had emus over here. Unless they're in the circles, but strangest sight I've ever seen. I'll be honest with you, mate, I can't really think of anything. I mean, obviously when I've been drunk and stuff, I've thought I've seen aliens, but I mean, that's when I was severely drunk, and it was really early hours of the morning. Then I think I've mentioned that before. It was years ago, and I was with my friends, and we were on a dual carriageway, and there's like an embankment, and we were lying on the embankment, and I swear I saw a spaceship. It wasn't. It was probably a shooting star, but I was completely pissed at the time. So, but that's probably the strangest thing. What pizza takeaway do you favour? I'm a Domino's man. Yeah, same here. I haven't used pizza for a while because I put a lot of weight on due to eating pizza, so at the moment that's out of my diet. But yeah, back in the day, it was Papa John's was my favourite, but now it's Domino's. To be fair, I'd rather just not eat any of it because none of it's too good for you. It's alright if you eat it once in a while. I think if you eat Domino's or any takeaway pizza for too often, it gets boring as well. I mean, it loses its flavour. I also find as well, my local Domino's, it's always a bit hit and miss. Sometimes you can have an amazing pizza, but the majority of the time it's either average or really overly cooked. And it's not nice. And they can also be quite stingy with the toppings sometimes as well. Are there any cats in your neighbourhood that come into your house? There were a couple, but to be honest, I haven't seen them for like months on end. I don't know where they've gone. There used to be a little black cat. We've got like really evil green eyes, and it just stare at you. And no matter where you were, you could be walking through the house, and you just have to look out the window, and the cat would be there, and he just know you're there. He just sense your presence and just stare at you and just stop dead. Freaky little shit he was. He's the only one that ever come in the house occasionally, like in the summer when I got the doors open. The other one I used to have, which I haven't seen for a long time, so I'm not sure if he died or not, but it's a bloody huge fat cat, and he used to just walk around my garden and just go on the fence and just sit around and chill. Very lazy cat. Okay, have you painted your lounge? Looked fresh in last week's video. Yeah, I did it a few months back. I painted David, as you said, done the game room. I did the lounge, upstairs, the landing, done all that. Yeah, I just felt like a complete refresh. I did my kitchen as well. As another one I did. I don't know when did I do the kitchen, probably about a year or so ago. And last year sometime I can't remember when it was. It was only a few months back. But I did the living room. Yeah, just needed the complete change and something completely different. Because I had magnolia before. It was just a base colour. And I thought, yeah, I need something that really stands out and, you know, something a bit different and fresh. So I went with the green. It's really hard to try and pick a colour that actually works. And I thought the green looked quite nice. So yeah. That was more my mum than anything. I took my mum with me to get the colour because me being me, I like bright colours, and I would have gone for something like a lot brighter than that, like a real fluorescent green or something. So my mum was the voice of reason. She's like, well, maybe you want to just tone it down a little bit because you know you want it to look presentable. But so yeah, so she picked that colour. So she got a good eye. Last week you read the questions off your TV. But what was the device in your hand you scrolled through them with? Was it a gamepad? No, just a mouse, mate. Literally just a PC mouse. I got it on my leg. I was just scrolling down the TV. So yeah, nothing special. I played Mario Galaxy the other day and could not gel with it. Did you like the Mario Galaxy Duo? I liked the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. I liked it. It was really fun. The second one was okay to start with. I was enjoying it. I didn't get very far into it. I got stuck on this one bit and I really need to go back and try again. It might have just been I was having a day and I was getting frustrated. I don't know. Sometimes my mood's not right, then I can't play games. But it was a bit where you're on a planet and you got, I don't know what you call it. It's like a drill basically. And you grab this thing and you drill through the earth and there's a dome on the other side of the earth. And I couldn't figure out the way you're supposed to do it to come out through the other side into the dome. I just couldn't do it. I tried everywhere on that bloody planet and I could not come out the right side and I was getting really pissed off. So that was months ago, so I really need to go and put that back on and yeah, have a go. But yeah, the first one was really great. I've heard the second one was a lot better. I did try the part at the beginning where you're using Yoshi. I found that quite difficult because it just gets so fast and out of control. And yeah, I found that quite awkward, but no, overall, pretty decent so far. I've said before that the Wii U is the most excited I've been about home console for years. Nintendo, GameCube and Wii never appealed to me. I purchased only the latter. I've owned the PS2, PS3, Xbox and 360 and they never got me excited. 360 kind of appeals to me though. So for me, I've had a drought of enjoyable current gen consoles since the N64. Do you see my point? Yeah, fair point. I mean, at least trying all the different consoles and they're not going to jump with everybody. You know, I mean, I've tried the PS2, I don't know how many ridiculous amount of times now. And while I like the console, I don't love the console. It's not, for me, the Xbox is the console of that generation, was the one that really blew me away. Yeah, I mean, since the Super Nintendo, for me, it's always been like the PS1, the original Xbox, and the PS3 were the main consoles that have really blown me away. The other consoles I've liked and enjoyed a lot of games on them, but those are the main consoles that really, you know, formed most of my gaming at the time, and I have a lot of nostalgia for. But you know, sometimes I think consoles just aren't going to gel with people, and it's just the way it is. You know, it's nice that you're getting so much out of the Wii U, to be honest with you, mate. Okay, I purchased Auto Model Easter on the PS2 the other day at a charity shop. Have I ever played it? No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. I'm not a big car guy, to be honest, mate. When it comes to car games, I like arcade races like Ridge Racer or Need for Speed, those kind of games. I'm not into. I assume that's probably a proper car game, like Gran Turismo, Forza. I can't play them at all. I don't like Gran Turismo because you have to get your license and get on my tits, so I just want to play the game. And Forza, I can't control the cars, I just smash into the walls. So yeah, it's not my kind of thing. Okay, question for you and your viewers. I need something to tie me over until Star Fox U. I saw Star Wars Starfighter in a charity shop, which looked like it would fit the bill. Agree? I've never heard of it, mate. Honestly, I've played a few Star Wars games, but that's not one I know. So if you guys are watching this, know if Star Wars Starfighter is any good, let Keith know in the comments below. And what's the closest Star Fox alternative on the PS2? Again, you're asking the wrong person. So anyone who knows that, please answer down below. Did you check out my blog? No worries if you haven't, of course. I haven't yet, Keith. I will. I promise, mate. To be honest, I just keep forgetting to do stuff and trying to watch videos and make videos for YouTube and edit and watch my TV shows and everything else. I'm just trying to keep up, man. But yeah, I will eventually. I promise. I'll get around to it. Okay. Have you checked out Amazon's Star Fox U page? No, I haven't. Didn't you mention that last week? I think you did. So I need to do that because I completely forgot to do that. I'll have a look at that after I've done this. Do you think they will call it Star Fox U, or could it be Starwing, or maybe Star Fox Chronicles? I don't know. I assume now, because Star Fox 64 3D came out on the 3DS, and also Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox Assault were called Star Fox on the GC over here, weren't they? So I assume that because I know from what I can remember anyway, back in the day it was called Starwing over here due to copyright and everything, and some company had got the Star Fox name so they couldn't use it. So I assume that has lapsed and they're allowed to use it as they used it on the GameCube. So I would assume it's going to be called Star Fox worldwide. They probably will go with Star Fox U because that's what everyone's calling it online. So it makes sense that everyone knows exactly what it is. Plus, it's just Nintendo and they're not very good at naming games. They try and go for the simplest option. Look at the console names, you know. So yeah, I would probably think they will go for Star Fox U unless they've got some kind of interesting storyline where they're going to have like a subtitle on it, but I would assume it's going to be Star Fox U. Right, okay. I hope Star Fox U will feature a lot of back deep space levels. Agree? Yeah, absolutely. The blurred out footage of Miyamoto playing it showed a blue sky mountain scene. Yeah, to be honest, I hope it's like the original two games on the SNES and N64, so you can have like going through valleys and, you know, like land-based levels, but then you can also have the space battles as well. I mean, that's the way to go, really. You know, hopefully, I'm assuming Miyamoto's listening to what people have said about the game over the years. I'm sure he watches YouTube videos and all that when he has got 5 minutes, which is probably not very often. But yeah, I think they'll get it right. I hope. Okay, I've already asked you this. Where we go? I already asked you this ages ago. But have you ever considered selling T-shirts? I saw your T-shirt from Stu. Right, well, no. It's honest, mate. I mean, Stu did that T-shirt for me. Good on him. You know, Ninja Bear Hug's a top bloke and everything. But yeah, it's. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I know there's was it District Lines you can make T-shirts on now. Haven't really looked into it, but I know that people in America, American YouTubers tend to use District Lines. So I don't know if they manufacture and sell the T-shirts and you get a percentage out of it, or what the hell happens. The problem is I'm not a creative person in terms of art. I mean, I can do these videos now, no problem at all, but when it comes to art, I haven't got a clue and I wouldn't know where to start designing the T-shirt. But it also depends on demand as well. I mean, if anybody, you know, wants them, that's the thing. I don't know if anybody would want a SNES-tastic T-shirt. That's something for you guys to decide, really. If that's something you'd want, then, you know, let me know and I can try and work something out and have a look into that. But that's entirely up to you guys, the subscribers, if that's what you want, really. Okay. Who would win out of these three in a Smash Brothers style fight? A very angry lion, a rhino with paralysing body odour, or an ostrich who lays lots of eggs as missiles? I'll probably go with the ostrich because he's got the missiles, so he's got a good defence mechanism, and yeah, you can keep the other two at bay. That's why I'd go with the ostrich. Thanks for answering my questions. Do you like owls? Yeah, they're alright. Not something I've really thought about, but yeah, okay. What's the worst console game to play if you're feeling unwell, based on your personal experience? Mine is Gran Turismo, it makes me dizzy. Probably any first-person shooter when I'm unwell, because they take a lot of concentration, and when I'm sick, I just want to lay back, switch the brain off, and just get stuck in and play the game. Yeah, I don't want to have to think too much, and obviously with a lot of first-person shooters, especially playing like COD, you know, you got to keep your wits about you and, you know, have your eyes on the ball. And when I'm sick, that ain't happening. To be quite honest, most of the time I don't play games when I'm sick because I'm just generally especially if I've got a cold or something, I'm really ill. I just tend to lie on the couch, just cover myself up and watch telly, watch films. Just, yeah, I don't really want to operate the brain too much. What is the worst console game to... that's all I've done that. I keep doing that. I keep reading the same question twice. Exploration seems to be missing in modern platformers, but was popular in the 90s 3D platformers. Do you agree? It depends. Not all of them. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog didn't really have exploration. That was literally a point A to point B game. Someone's going to correct me on that, but from what I've seen of playing it, it was. Obviously, Mario World, there was a lot of exploration in that. You could like, find secret areas. That was really cool. I don't know, other than the indie market, I mean, I don't play indie games, so if I'm just going by the main releases, platformers are pretty much dead these days. I mean, the last one that came out that really impressed me was Knack, and there wasn't no exploration in that. That was really mostly linear. But yeah, I mean, I don't really mind. I like either way. I don't mind which way they work, as long as the platform is a good game. Yeah, they really should make more platforms. I mean, I know we've got Mario Galaxy and we've got Knack and there's El Shaddai, which yeah, it doesn't really count, but yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Keith. Cheers for the questions, mate. Okay, next question is from Dark One Ank. So thank you very much. Who asks, are you going to be investing in the new 4K Blu-ray disc format due out this year? I wasn't actually aware it was out this year, mate, to be honest. I haven't paid that much attention to it. The last time I looked at it, I found out that they decided on the format. So as far as I'm aware, there's no format war this time. It's just 4K Blu-ray, which is absolutely fantastic. It's nice to have a clear-cut solution. I won't be investing straight away because I don't have the funds. It's simple as that, because I've got to buy a new TV and a new Blu-ray player, unless they can upgrade the PS4, but I don't think they can. I assume that's just a standard Blu-ray player, and 4K Blu-ray players are completely different, or maybe they can be firmware. I don't know anything about it, so I'm just guessing it. But yes, I will eventually. We'll be converting over to 4K, absolutely, because I'm really impressed with the technology. And it all comes down to the films as well. I mean, obviously, it's better that we haven't got a format war, because when we had HD DVD versus Blu-ray, HD DVD had all the great films, Blu-ray had all the shit films. So this time around, we should just get, hopefully, a smooth transition. And you'll be able to, I don't know how they're going to do that. They're going to have to ditch DVD, aren't they? Because otherwise, you're going to have 3 different formats, and that's just ridiculous. So DVD should have died a while ago, to be quite honest with you. But Blu-ray's been so badly marketed in this country that I don't think most people know what it is. So yeah, they're going to have to dump DVD finally, because it's outdated now. And you know, just have Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray. And of course, they'll do those like they do now, where they have the Blu-ray packs that come with a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a digital. You'll probably get a 4K Blu-ray with a standard Blu-ray and a digital copy, which makes perfect sense. And then when you're ready to upgrade, you've got the 4K version. But yeah, I mean, I know 4K TVs have been dropping in price pretty quick as well, more than I thought they would do. So that's a good sign. But yeah, I will definitely, 100%, when I've got money and things and I'm back on track, I'll be jumping in the 4K ring, definitely. Okay. Right, next set of questions from Scribble Sam Animation. So cheers, Sam. First question is, do you like heavy metal? If so, do you like reggae? Yes and yes, absolutely, both of them. If so, what are your opinions on the reggae metal band Skindred? I absolutely love them, mate. They're an absolutely brilliant band. I haven't listened to them for a few years, and the only album I've got of theirs is, I believe it's their first album, the one that's got Babylon on it, which I love that song. That album is awesome, and I have a recollection of seeing them live once. I'm not entirely certain if I did or I'm making it up, but I think it would have been either Ozfest or Download. I'm not sure which one it was. And in my mind, it was the year that they had Cradle of Filth and Mushroom Head there, and Cradle of Filth on the main field and Mushroom Head went on the indoor bit. But I'm pretty sure we saw Skindred that year. I don't know. I might be completely wrong and I didn't. But anyway, I love the band anyway. Yeah, Skindred are awesome, and metal, favourite music, reggae, love it. Did you used to have a Tamagotchi or virtual pet in the 90s? I had one briefly, from what I can remember. I don't remember how I got it or why, but yeah, I remember having one. I know they were massive at the time. A really cool idea, actually. I quite like the Tamagotchi virtual pet thing. Yeah, it's an interesting concept anyway. Have you ever played any Power Ranger video games? If so, which ones would you say are the best and which were the worst? I haven't yet. The ones I want to play are on the Super Nintendo, because there's Power Rangers the movie, and there's the one that Jay Cyber Snake got, which I've forgotten the bloody name of, the one-on-one fighter. But the standard Power Rangers and the Power Rangers movie are scoring beat 'em up, so I definitely want to try those at some point. So that's, I've got to find out if you can get them in Japan. I'm assuming you probably can. Okay, have you watched this kid's show called Animal Crackers? No, I've never heard of that, mate. I've seen it on a documentary on Channel 4 called Top 100 TV Nightmares, and it's basically a creepy version of Banana Splits. Oh, okay, Banana Splits was really cool. And they're supposed to be jungle animals who come from another planet and play rock music. Right, okay, that sounds weird. I'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, but I used to like Banana Splits when I was a kid. Oh, hang on, it's too far. Okay, next questions are from Egon Spengler. So thank you very much, mate. Cheers. First question is, when did you decide to make videos? 2009. I started my account August 2009. Yeah. And do you find it was easy to put yourself on video, or did it take practice? Absolutely not, mate. If you were to go back to right to the beginning of my channel and watch those early videos, it was not easy. I've said before, before I started doing YouTube, I had no confidence whatsoever when it comes to cameras. I wouldn't let people take photos of me. I sure as hell wouldn't go on video. So it was quite surprising that I actually got off my arse and did this, because I never thought I'd be able to do it. And I was extremely nervous, and you can see it in the first few videos for quite a while where I was bricking it big time. But eventually, the more you do it, the more confident you become. You just become more comfortable more than anything. And this camera becomes you, the viewer. And you just start getting into that mindset of talking to your mates, and especially when you make more friends on YouTube and you talk to people regularly in the comments or outside of YouTube, then it just feels like you're having a chat with your mate and you're just hanging out. It doesn't feel like you're making a YouTube video. So, for anyone who's ever wanting to do this, you should always go and try, at least do it once. Just film something, get your phone, get whatever camera you've got, just shoot a video, see how you feel. Do it behind the camera first, just to get confidence speaking on camera, because that's really hard, because you can tend to panic, have a bit of a mini panic attack, and get very nervous and stutter your words. And so you just keep practicing and practicing and practicing, and then or if you've really got balls, just turn the camera on and sit in front of it and talk, and then watch it back and see what you think. But yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing to do. All right, next one from Gashead. So Gashead Steve asked me, have you ever completed the game, and in reflection of how it ended, changed your opinion on that game, and if so, which games? I.e., great game, crap ending, disappointing game, or vice versa, crap gaming but great ending. You enjoyed the game. Not so much how the game's ended, but I would say like The Last of Us. If you watch my initial video when I first played that game, I was a little underwhelmed. I wasn't blown away like most people had been at the time. I enjoyed the game and I thought it was decent, but it didn't really, impress me as much as a lot of people. But then over time, the story sort of marinated and it sat with me for quite a while, and I really started to think about the characters and what had been presented, and I started to realise just how good it was. And then when I went back to it and played it a second time, I really realised how great that game is, and it really impressed me and completely changed my opinion on the game. Other than that, I can't really think of any others, to be honest, Steve. That's the main one that comes to mind. And a silly random gashead question. Who would really win in a fight between Robocop and Terminator? I don't know, I mean, you'd automatically assume the Terminator, but Robocop's got the advantage because he's part Murphy, so he's part human. He's a cyborg, not a robot. Whereas the Terminator is just a machine, a metal endoskeleton, with flesh. Or if it's in the future, he's just the endoskeleton. So he's essentially just programmed to kill. He's not really got... I mean, he can make decisions, but not like Robocop, where he's got that human part of him, where he would be more adaptive to the situation. So I'm probably going to go with Robocop. I think he would have the advantage in that respect, and he'd be more tactical. Okay, so I just saw a comment from Towns Jim about a place in Bristol called 20th Century Flicks, which I've never heard of. Apparently it's the best retro shop in the UK. If I'm ever in Bristol, mate, I'll have a look, and if I am, I'll do some footage if they let me. So next set of questions from Addy Sneaker Freak Steve. Thank you, Steve. First question is, Cop Cops or Cola Cubes? I don't know what the bloody hell a Cop Cop is, mate, but Cola Cubes are awesome, so I'm going to go with them. Are you going to play this year? Don't know, probably not at the moment, to be honest with you. Financially, ain't going to happen. But you know, there's still time. Things can change. I will get there eventually. I promise. From an aesthetic design perspective, what is your favourite console? Yeah, I think it's gonna. If I'm honest, it's got to come down between the Super Nintendo, the PAL and Japanese version, the Japanese Mega Drive, and the PlayStation. The original PlayStation is a fantastic design, but I think realistically, it's between the SNES and the Mega Drive, isn't it? That's really hard. Um, I would probably, yeah, I would probably edge towards the Japanese Mega Drive. If I'm absolutely honest, just from aesthetics, because I love the black. I like the curves. It looks really futuristic. It looks like a really good quality bit of hi-fi equipment. I think they really nailed it at the time, especially when you put the Mega CD underneath and it just looks really good. Even in 2015, it still looks like a really classic design. I mean, Super Nintendo design, flawless, but I would say the Mega Drive probably just about edges it out. And as for your last question, well, yeah, I didn't know what it was, but I googled it, and if that's real, then yeah, I know people have got issues, but Jesus Christ, honestly. Right, next set of questions from Sega sent me one. Thank you very much. And his first question is: do you mind me asking how much your budget was while making a main stand-up cabinet? I watched the video, but can't remember if you mentioned it or not. Honestly, mate, I can't even remember what we spent on it. We didn't spend a whole lot on it because it was like chipboard for the actual cabinet, so that wasn't that expensive. The monitor I got from eBay, I'm thinking it was around about 25 quid, something like that. It might be 20, 25. It wasn't very expensive for the monitor. The PC was around about the same price as well because it wasn't like a super powerful one. We just needed something basic to run. The keyboard and mouse cost me a couple of quid, it's just a cheap one. The Perspex screen that goes between the monitor that fits into the cabinet, which I'm sure that was around about 20 quid or something, or maybe a little bit more. It was like a purpose cut one that I got from eBay from a company that does Perspex. And the decals, we used posters, if you remember rightly, a Transformers poster that we cut down, just like a door poster. They're not very expensive at all, only a few quid. Yeah, I can't. It's mainly the chipboard that we actually built. The cabinet was the most expensive part. So you're probably talking about 100, 150 max, I would have thought. I know I didn't spend too much on it. Obviously, you can make a lot better cabinets than that, but it's our first attempt. So, would you ever make another one to sell for profit? Not to sell for profit, but I would make another one for myself. And it is something we have thought about. I've said before that the consideration is there that in the future maybe. And if we were to do it, we'd do a proper full-on, like more of a high-end one, I suppose. Get better materials. And now we've got the basic idea of how it all fits together. But yeah, never say never. It's either that, or in the future, I'll buy myself either an Operation Wolf cabinet or a three-player pit fighter cab, which is something I'd love, but the three-player pit fighter cab would probably be far too big to fit in my living room and would be a little ridiculous to dominate, whereas the Operation Wolf would just fit nicely. I could put it where I had the main cab before. So yeah, I don't know, we'll wait and see. Have you ever seen the Nintendo store in New York? Yeah, I saw Pete Dore go there a few years back. Absolutely fantastic. If I ever get to New York, because New York is one of the main places I really want to visit in my lifetime, so I need to get there, and that's one place I'll go is the Nintendo store because it looks really cool. Did the Sega Buzz ever travel near you back in the day? I didn't know there was a Sega Buzz, to be honest, mate, so not that I'm aware of. I was watching videos of fun fairs in America, and some of the food they were selling looked interesting. Deep fried Oreos, oh Jesus. Donut burgers, that sounds alright. Deep fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'd eat it because I like peanut butter and jelly, but that's, yeah. Well, to name a few. Would you try any of these? Yeah, I'd say everything but deep fried Oreos. Although it might improve the flavour of Oreos because Oreos taste like crap. They're just bland. So, yeah, why not actually? I'm pretty open to trying most things. So, yeah, I'll try them all. When you're older, do you think you will ever get into model trains or maybe the age you are currently? No, never interested me in the slightest, so definitely not, no. I've got enough bloody hobbies as it is, to be honest. Okay, would you rather go on a bullet train from Japan, high-speed train from France, or a steam engine across the state of California? Steam engine, definitely. Shame it's California, mine, but nothing wrong. No disrespect to Californians, but Alex keeps telling me, Blue Tonic keeps telling me there's a lot more to California than we're told. It's not all just like plastic surgery and movies, but I mean, yeah, I swear if it was like the nice part of California, like out in the country and everything, like, yeah, then I'd be up for it. I like the idea of the steam train anyway, because you can take in the scenery and enjoy it a lot more that way. Okay, next one. Can you do an impressions of any famous people or maybe a cartoon character? No, I definitely can't, mate. And I'm not even going to attempt. When is the last time you actually went and bought a new game from a shop? From a shop, would have been the end of last year when I picked up Kirby for the Wii. Kirby's Epic Yarn, which by the way is still sealed on the shelf. I still haven't got around to playing it, which is really bad. So I need to do that. But yeah, that was the last one. Before that, I haven't got a clue because I was buying from Amazon, to be honest. Can we get some insight into what Snes was like as a teenager? What he did on a typical Saturday growing up as a kid? As a teenager, I drank a lot. That was my teenage years. There was me and 3 friends. There was me, Martin, Steve, and Ada. And yeah, we used to hang around at Ada's house most weekends. And it was just a case of going the offie. Me and Steve were the older looking ones out of the group, so we were the ones that could get the booze because we looked over 18, even though we clearly weren't. And we used to go and get bags of booze, and it would be us and friends and girls and whatever, and we'd all just be hanging out, drinking, playing video games, playing basketball. Not so much Mer, I don't really play the basketball, it's more the lads. And just chilling. Or we'd go over the park and do things what most teenagers do, really. But yeah, that was mostly our teenagers, was drinking a lot. I kind of regret it in a way. It was great at the time because hanging out with my friends, and that was the most important thing. But we could have done a lot more of our time because we'd end up getting absolutely hammered on a Saturday night. Wake up very early on a Sunday and go to the ice rink, and then play some arcade games and skate for a few hours. And trying to skate with a hangover is never a wise move. Apart from video games, what do you miss about being a kid or a teenager? Freedom more than anything, just not having any responsibility whatsoever. Don't have to worry about bills or anything like that. Just being able to do what you want when you want to. Just your friends come around, knock on your door, you go out, grab your bike, just ride off, and just do whatever you wanted to do. Really, when I used to when I was a lot younger, we used to live in a grove, and there was a dirt track that would lead round to all the garages. And I remember we used to come bombing down on our bikes and slam the brakes on and just slide the bike and try and get it on its side and get as low to the ground as you possibly can without injuring yourself. That was a thing we were doing for quite a while. We used to drive around the block, come into the grove like hands free, and just try and guide the bike around the corner full speed, which ended in travesty one day because my mate completely misjudged it and hit the curb and went straight over the underpass. Yeah, that wasn't very fun. Didn't half injure himself. And yeah, we used to, just being able to hang out and just hang out. We used to hang on the street corner. All the kids in the grove used to hang out in the corner and chat under the lamp and just chill. We used to play Kirby. If you don't know what Kirby is, you get a ball, stand either side of the street, and bounce the ball against the curb, and you get different points depending on where you hit it. And if it bounces back and you catch it, you get extra points. Yeah, just the freedom and the easiness of childhood. That's the best thing. Just being out, even in the summer, just you get your friends and you get your toys. And in an upcoming video, I'll be showing some masked vehicles that I've purchased recently. And back when I was young in that grove, there was a kid called Ben I used to hang out with. I'll talk about in the upcoming video. And just like in the summer, me and Ben just hanging out on the lawn, just chilling, just playing with the mask figures, and just you just got no responsibility whatsoever as a kid. And it's the best time ever. As an adult, there's just so much shit you have to deal with, whether it be like social situations that you don't want to deal with, paying bills, keeping your house running, looking after your family and your friends, and just all this bollocks where people just care too much about other people's lives. And I don't care about other people's lives most of the time. I find, not so much I don't care, but like on the basic level, like someone's like dating so and so, or someone's had an argument with someone. I don't care about all that petty bollocks. It's irrelevant to me. So I miss the days where you could just not worry about anything, and it felt like the world was going to last forever and you were going to live forever. Yeah, they were good days, man. So, and finally, do you remember Dave Perry from Games Master? Yeah, the bloke with the bandana. I found out he was a tattoo shop a few towns over from me. No way! Mind blown. I That's really cool. Do you ever go? Should go in there and taunt him about his Mario 64? Because that was hilarious. I love watching that clip on YouTube. Absolute genius. Right, next set of questions. And these are the final questions this week, guys. And these are from my good friend Josh, Mario and Sonic 1986. And if my tablet actually decides to bloody work, I'll be able to read them. What in the hell is going on here? I'm having serious issues with this at the moment. My tablet's gone tits and it keeps blurring everything up and I can't read anything. Aha, there we go. Yeah, I don't know if it's the YouTube mobile version of their website's crap, which it generally is, or it's just my tablet needs rebooting. Anyway, so first question from Josh. What is the worst 3D game that I've played? And that would probably still be Street Fighter EX on a PlayStation, the original PlayStation. I hate those. I think they're absolute shite. When they came out, my friends were loving them and I thought they were crap. For me, Street Fighter 2, or Street Fighter in general, is 2D. You can possibly go 2.5D, which technically they probably were on the PlayStation. They probably weren't even 3D, but they were supposed to be 3D. And the polygons in it was just, it was crap. What is the worst TV show that you've watched and how far did you get into it? And I'm back. Alright guys, sorry about that, bit of an interruption there. So, just had some visitors. Anyway, back onto the question. So we got to second question from Mario and Sonic 1986, and it was, what is the worst TV show you've watched and how far did you get into it? Probably Breaking Bad was one of them. I watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes of that and I just didn't get it. It didn't interest me at all, so I gave up on that. And generally, I know some people say it's not enough, but for me personally, the amount of American shows that I watch, I can literally tell from the first episode if it's going to be a show I'm going to stick with. I'll either love it and can't wait to watch more, think it's a load of crap and never watch it again, or I'll watch it and I'll be like, I'm not too sure, there's something there, I'll give it another try and I'll watch the second episode, and if it's still not really clicking with me, then I'll walk away from it because I've got too many shows to choose from. A good example was a new show that started recently called Empire on Fox, I believe it's on, with Terrence Howard. Really, really good show. But the first episode was one of those where I sat there and I watched it and I thought, this is cliched. And I thought, I don't know if I can watch this. This is going to be the typical, stereotypical story, and it's going to be a bit cheesy. And it's more like a telenovela than anything. And once I started accepting it was like that, it was a little bit better. And I watched another episode and it's got better week on week, and I'm actually starting to really enjoy the show. So yeah, there's a show. If you've not seen Empire on Fox, go and check it out and see what you think. It's a good show. Just stick with it. It does get better. Yeah, just accept that it's not really too serious. It is a little bit stereotypical and cheesy. A few too many cliches, but I like Terrence Howard anyway, so it makes the show worth it. But yeah, it's a good show. Next one. If you could write a story, what would it be about? I've got a couple of ideas knocking around in my head. Don't really want to say anything in case I ever do actually do anything about it, which is probably not likely, but I tend to like crime dramas, and in particular like films, like action films, spy films, those kind of things. Like, so if it's anything to do with crime or spies or secret agents, I love all that kind of thing, and also sci-fi as well, so it'd probably be something like that. One of the ideas I've had in my head was to do like an MI5 agent, which is, hard to try and make something original out of that, but it can be done. Another idea I had was, I got this concept in my head the one day, I don't really know where, it's only like a real basic beginning, but it was a character waking up, and the usual thing where they're lying on the floor and it's like black, and then it sort of flickers into focus as their eyes are opening up. And as it's a female character, and as she stands up, there's planes flying overhead. She's in New York, shit's kicking off, there's explosions, there's soldiers shooting everybody, and she's like that and realises she ain't getting hit. And she looks around and there's her dead body on the floor. And then you've got the light in front of her, and then she's got to make a decision then. And she decides that she needs to investigate her own death. And it's not an original concept, but you could probably try and make it a little interesting. And obviously there's a backstory of how she got to that position in the first place, and who killed her and why, and what's happening in New York, why is it all falling apart. I don't know, it's just something that came to me one day, and I thought maybe that could be turned into something. So I've kind of given away one of my ideas there, but that's the kind of thing I was aiming for. The MI5 one's still very rough. I'm still sketching ideas on that one. And your favourite Arnie quote? Oh, Jesus. I ain't going to do an Arnie impression, but I can't do Arnold's. I don't know, like Get to the Chopper's a good one, obviously. I'll be back to classic. What is it? Your Luggage from Eraser. That's always a funny one. Yeah, I'll go with them for the time being. What is your favourite Arnold action scene? Two of mine were when Arnie detonates the bomb at the beginning of True Lies, brilliant film, and him killing the soldiers in Commando. Oh my god, mate, it's the best favourite Arnie scenes. That's really tough when you think about all the films. One of the scenes is Predator, when he's against the tree, he's got the camouflage, and he opens his eyes up, and that is a really cool scene. I love that. So I think some of his best acting was in Predator, actually. He was really good in that film. Also, little things I like Total Recall, when he's dressed as that woman and the face falls apart. That's just really cool. Or when he's got the turban and he pulls that bloody scanner out of the tracking device out of his nose. I love that film. It's brilliant. There's so many good scenes in that film. What else is there? Yeah, I'll just go with them for the time being, because I'll be all day thinking about it. Okay, I haven't watched Star Trek, but I am a fan of Star Wars. I'd like to know your reasons why you like Star Trek and what really stands out about it over Star Wars. For me, it's a more authentic experience with Star Trek even, I'll get my words right in a minute. Star Wars, for me, I find it hard to grasp, because as much as I love sci-fi, it's a bit too fantasy for me. The aliens are ridiculous, and I just don't. I can't get to grips with those silly aliens. It just seems very childish to me. No disrespect to Star Wars fans, it just doesn't do it for me at all. Whereas with Star Trek, it's a much more believable universe, and there's a possibility that it could happen in the future were we to discover other civilizations. And I think the aliens look a lot more realistic as well. Obviously, some of them don't, but for the most part, like the Ferengi, the Bajorans, the Cardassians, they all look like they're like slight mutations of humans, so they could probably work. Obviously, when you get like Odo as a shapeshifter, a bit different. But generally, I think, like, especially Next Generation in particular, they dealt with a lot of social situations, and there's a lot of social commentary in that original. Well, not the second series. Obviously, Next Generation wasn't the original. Even in the original '60s one, there's a lot of commentary as well. It's really a lot more interesting to me. I just find Star Wars way too out there, and I just can't connect with it at all. But as I say, it's weird, because I absolutely adore sci-fi. It's one of my favourite things to watch. I'm just not a big fan of fantasy, It's why I don't like Lord of the Rings, because it just doesn't do it for me at all. I was seriously bored watching that. In the near future, the hoverboard might be reality. To be fair, that video I saw was, a bit bollocks, to be honest. What things would you like to see in the real world in the future of technology? If the future of technology exists, the only thing I've ever wanted, Josh, and I've always said it, is a holodeck like Star Trek. And the Microsoft HoloLens is probably the first step towards that becoming a reality. I would absolutely love. I mean, the problem is you can't. To try and do it in a room is really hard. You'd have to try and find a spare room, which is not going to be an easy thing to do. Dedicate the room to it, and just have a blank space, and you just switch it on, and you can just program it for whatever you want. Like to do in Star Trek, you go on the wall and stuff. But the HoloLens is a start. I mean, obviously you have to wear something on your face, but yeah, I would just love a holodeck. That would be the ultimate experience. You wouldn't need video games if you got one of those. That'd be just amazing. Which game have you spent the most hours on? How many? How many? I have no idea, because I don't count the hours that I'm playing games. I very rarely, if the game has got like a stat thing where it tells you how many, I don't read them. I think the only time I've ever read one of those was when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4. I'd probably say at the moment, in the last few years at least, probably Uncharted 2 is the most played. I played it to death, back and forth, beginning to end, just dipping in and out, playing my favourite stages. I absolutely adore that game on every front. The story, the gameplay, everything is just perfection. Except for that boss battle at the end, of course. But yeah, brilliant game. Have you seen any Japanese anime series or movies? If so, which ones? As I said before, the only one I've ever seen that I can remember watching was Akira, which I thought was quite decent. I liked that one. I tried to watch Fist of the North Star, couldn't get into it. I don't know what it is. I don't like Japanese anime. It just doesn't do it for me at all. I mean, animated films in general, I'm not a big fan of anyway, as an adult. I like watching the odd Pixar movie. I mean, I love Nemo. Nemo is brilliant. I like Toy Story. But I don't go out of my way to really get into them, to be quite honest with you. And the last question of this week, guys, is: do you prefer to access movies and TV shows by downloading, streaming, or buying a physical copy? Movies, Blu-ray, definitely prefer physical copy. TV shows, you know, I do download them, obviously, because I watch them week on week. But if they're a show that I really, really get into, such as Supernatural, 24, Alias, more recently Arrow, then yes, once I've watched all the season, as soon as the Blu-ray comes out, I'll go and buy the box set and they get my money that way. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with downloading TV shows. I think downloading films and that's a completely separate issue, and I understand that. But in terms of TV shows, as far as I'm concerned, they're aired in America. They get all their money from advertising, so there's no real big deal there. And if I'm buying the Blu-rays as well, admit that I don't buy the Blu-ray box sets of every show I watch because that would be insane. But yeah, that's how I consume my TV and film anyway. So thanks, Josh. Cheers for the questions, and thank you to everyone who asked me a question this week. If you do, of course, have a question for me, just leave it down below in the comment section. I'll answer that next week for you guys. Thank you very much for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please remember to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.